one thing seems to trump that, and that's a challenge. That's a good old-fashioned two people, mounting off to each other and setting a challenge. And what happened was, someone had a 5K average of around 30 minutes, 21 seconds until that bear was poked. And when that bear got poked, his time went down from...
He is a big
That's a
bear.
big bear.
Hibernating and eating for a while there.
That big bear was high.
Carb load. That was just the carb load, I wanted to make sure I had enough in the tank.
Well, I'm going to call this challenge the Hare the Bear challenge because the hare ran a good time on the Wednesday. Hey guys, Seán here, and welcome to another episode of the Any Given Runday Podcast. Of course, with social distancing, I am joined on Zoom. This podcast not sponsored by Zoom. I thought I'd mention that anyway. And on Zoom, we have Conor. Say hello, Conor.
Hey, Conor.
Hey, Conor. Aaron, say hello, Aaron.
Hi.
It's audio, man. It's audio. Waving doesn't work. I want to say something with this. I know we're technically on Zoom, but you got to talk as well. Please.
I did talk.
Okay. There's a long pause there before you said something. And as well as that, Eric, we have you on the line. Eric, what is the story?
Oh, sorry. I thought we had to pause. I thought that was the trend we were setting there. You could kind of tell the moment the lift got to the top floor in Aaron's head, couldn't you? And you joined in there.
Quarantine has gotten to the four of us. That's our fifth time trying to record the intro to this podcast, and I don't care how bad it sounds, we're going straight into it. Before we get started on this week's podcast, I want to give a shout out to everyone on our Any Given Runday Facebook group. The guys and girls have been killing it with Mondays and Wednesdays, and I was going to give a personal shout out to everyone, but we had a little talk before we started. We said some people might not be mentioned by name, so you guys know who you are. There's people in the group that are running sub 20 5Ks, which is unbelievable, and it's for all ages as well. And the reason I say that is a very quick story. I was on the phone to my dad, and he obviously knows I'm running this podcast, and my mom hasn't painted pretty much everything in the house, and thank God Woody's is closed because there's no more paint to buy. Like, he's even painting the clothesline. There's that much stuff for him to paint. And he went out, he did a run. He did a little bit of a run on Monday, and he was on the bike and doing a little bit as well. And then on Wednesday, he went out and he ran his 5K. My dad doesn't do running. He's stubborn like I am. He's like, I'm getting it done, and that's it. So he's definitely not much of a runner. Not that I call myself a runner either. But he ran a 5K in 42 minutes. And I'm not saying my dad's age, but he's higher than 62 and lower than 64. But he he ran a 42 minute, and he gets back to me and he goes, yeah, Seán, I did a 5K. And he sent me a picture. I'm like, holy shit, you ran a 5K in 42 minutes. That's unbelievable. Like, and he goes, yeah, no, I ran. I didn't stop. I'm like, you got to put that in the group. He goes, I can't put that in the group. He goes, why not? And he goes, a lad in the group after doing nearly 20-minute 5K, and this is the Wednesday, so Conor, I'm looking at you, and we're going to get to you and Aaron's challenge later. He goes, I can't do it because of that. I'm like, no, this is a you versus you thing. Like, you're after doing a 42-minute 5K, and you're not that much of a runner. You're not a runner at all. Like, and and he was like, okay, he eventually put it up. So those of you that are listening going, geez, I don't want to enter that Any Given Runday run club group because they're all runners and I'm not really at that level. There is no level. It's you against you. The whole idea behind it is just to get out and get a run in and try and improve on yourself each and every week. So on Monday, we have 5K runs. That doesn't have to be a 5K. You could do a 2K or a 3K or just get out there and do something. And Wednesdays are interval runs. We're going to get into that a little bit and talk a little bit more in depth about that, how we record intervals and different things like that. And then on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, we do our long run. I'm going to hold my hands up here and say I did not do a long run this week. I completely
naughty.
I'm going to take a whole sitting around. And the old man's lower back froze today, and he saw the weather.
Oh, lies.
So no, that's the only one.
Wasn't even mentioned beforehand.
And you can tell Aaron's getting a little bit melty because before we came on starting to record the podcast, Aaron, you ran a long run this week.
I did, Seán. Yeah, God.
How did you get on?
10K there now.
Aaron has ran more during this little challenge than he did in the full build-up to the marathon.
Yes. He's done 3 runs this week, and I'm very impressed with that. But speaking of doing more runs, Eric, you ran another half marathon today, and you went cycling yesterday.
Yeah, no, back to Aaron. I want to hear what he has to say. He's staying very quiet over there.
Well, it's just a bit of competition between me and Connor now, in fairness now. I think on Monday...
Yeah, Seán, I had a good...
No, we will get to the competition between Connor and Aaron in the second half of the podcast. We will get to that because I've got a couple of questions for that one, and myself and Eric are very interested. But fair play, Aaron. 10K today. You did your intervals on Wednesday. You said you're a little bit sore after your intervals. Recovery from the Monday run. What went on there?
I tried to do run as fast as I could on Monday, and then it was just sore on Tuesday, and then Wednesday it was like, like you had like weights at the bottom of your legs and you're running, and it was just like, oh Jesus Christ. Oh.
It's not a different kind of soreness. Myself and Connor were talking about before we came on, and I know genuinely my lower back, I probably could have ran, to be honest with you, but it was stiffening up. I find that being quarantined, stuck at home, you're kind of like, you're sitting around a lot more. Like I'm stupidly in front of the laptop 5-6 hours of getting up and walking about and stuff like that. My Fitbit walk is at an all-time low. Connor, you're saying
you're doing a mad amount of stuff this weather. Like, I think you're feeding lambs the other day, and
I was out last night, lads, feeding me lambs. Saturday night out feeding a lamb was great. I hadn't a clue what I was doing on the farm, but that's a real mess in that one. I didn't know what was going on. I was like told, feed this, you're feeding it the wrong way, put it in this way, or you're doing it wrong. I'm like, what do you mean I'm doing it wrong? And I realized there's more milk on the lamb than in the lamb. I'm like, oh, definitely doing something wrong here.
I thought she was talking about your running, but it both makes sense.
Right, this ain't Any Given Farm Day, this is Any Given Run Day, so I'm moving on. Connor, how's your running getting on this week, with the exception of Monday, because we'll get back to Monday a little bit. You were saying you're a little bit stiff and sore during your runs, and how are you getting on?
Yeah, so look, I suppose kind of, like all of us, those that are kind of desk-bound at the moment, just kind of find yourself sitting there an awful lot more. So I got out for my 5K during the week and had run as part of our hurling training sections on Sunday, and just I was a little bit tight, I suppose for the remainder of the week, so I didn't get my intervals in. And my long run then yesterday was shorter than I would have anticipated, so I only did 8K at a pace which, to be honest, if I ran it during the marathon, I'd be disappointed. So look, I think, what I'm finding is that, having to be a little bit more sedentary is definitely tough. I think obviously when we talk about our 5K challenge later on, I think the reason probably why I kind of went at it so hard was that just out of pure frustration. So look, I think, and that's maybe, one of the benefits of this challenge is that it's something to kind of focus in on. Something to look forward to, as well, and something to kind of put some energy into.
Yeah, I'm finding myself, I'm like I'm looking at the Fitbit and stuff, and each day it's barely, like, it's 5,000-6,000 steps I'm doing a day, whereas usually I'll be 15,000-20,000 easily, because we walk around the gym and stuff all morning, even all the rest. So I find that's a lot down. I need to start I'm doing like online workouts for people. I'm doing every set and every rep, so I'm getting all my workouts in between in today. I'm getting like a 1 hour block. I'm getting it in every day of the week, and my runs. But in between all that, it's literally what I'm doing now. It's just sitting down. I think we all, like, not we all, like myself anyway, and probably people listening, it's just get up for 5 minutes and just to do something. Like, if you're in an office situation, and I don't know how you people work in an office. I don't mean you people in a bad way, but I don't know how you work in an office behind a desk all day, because like I'm stiff as a board right now. But I suppose you would hop up to a water fountain every, I don't know, once an hour. Is that a thing? I'm watching just too much American TV over here.
Well, like it's pretty much 5,000 steps in a day in an office if you don't do anything after work. Like, that's it. Like, and that's me walking somewhat a bit to the bus stop and back, and doing a few other things.
That was before, mate. You got a taxi to work. Don't give me that. No. Whenever I'm work early, I get a taxi. Whenever I'm not, I get the bus. So okay.
But yeah, like, I'd be the same as Aaron. Like, and I think anywhere from 5,000 to 7,000 steps.
Like, you used to be able to just walk to your work in like 70 steps or something like that.
Yeah. And how much walking do you do to the bus?
A bit more than 70 anyway.
That's how competitive you guys are getting now. How much walk are you do on the bus? Well, I walk further than you to my
You
job.
can walk further to the bus.
I take bigger strides than you do. That's how bad you two are getting right now. But I'm trying to save that. I'm trying very hard to save you two on your little back and forth to the last 5-10 minutes of the podcast. And I'll switch it up to Eric. And the reason being is, Eric, you would have experience doing interval runs, and I did my interval run on Wednesday, and I use the Nike Run app. I'm very fond of it, but it doesn't track the interval part. And I don't want to run at 1K in like 4 minutes, hit the pause button, and then wait 2 minutes and run again, because then that it'll tell me my best time for a 5K is 21 minutes, but it's got pauses and stuff in between. I'm like, I'm just cheating myself there. Like I like my little records and what I actually got and have a note of that. So how do you record your intervals? Because what I had to do was I ran a 4 minute kilometer on Wednesday, and I waited 2 minutes to clock. I let it run. I was pacing, just walking up and down a little bit. And once 2 minutes had gone, I ran again. I did a 4:15, and I waited 2 minutes. I just had it in my head of doing the 5Ks. By the time I got to the fifth one, I was like 4:25, because I find it's a lot easier on a treadmill just to track your run, but outdoors, trying to get that distance right and stuff when you're messing with hills is a bit difficult. But a long question short, how do you track your intervals? Is it the same way?
For me, see, I use the Garmin, so I have the Phoenix 5 watch. So again, like that, it's kind of frustrating because you're going so fast, but it includes the time of your stops as part of your run. So it'll average your run out at like a 5:50 per kilometer run when you're like, oh, I was running at a 3:45 or I was running at a this. So the only thing is, on the Garmin app, it actually breaks it down so you can see the intervals and you can see your pace of when you were running and how far you got. So you're actually able to see, okay, for her first interval, for the first K plus, I was running at a 3:45 pace for that kilometer with a certain amount of elevation. My heart rate was at a certain amount. So you can really gauge how hard you were working during the different intervals. So you can actually break down what heart rate zone you were in for the intervals, how hard you were working, the speed you were at for those different intervals. And like you, Seán, you do kind of a loop, if I'm right, for your intervals. So you can see...
For intervals, I'll just go a kilometre down, kilometre back to try to the flattest part.
One of them probably downhill, one of them uphill. So you can see how your intervals are doing on the uphill. You can see how they're doing on the downhill, because it's giving you the elevation change as well. So when I do my hill sprints intervals, it's great to see, because you're seeing how steep the gradients are, how much you're climbing in an interval. So there's a lot you can do with the Garmin stuff. But like you, I know you don't want to set it as your best 5K. So if you don't want to do that, then it's probably best keep it that way and just take mental note of each time. And I know my friend Austin, he actually writes a journal. Now he would have a Garmin, but he actually goes through it and writes down all the key points for him, so he can quickly glance from week to week and see how he's improving.
I was literally about to mention Austin's name, because he actually mentioned me when I brought it up in the run group on Facebook. Was like, how do people track their intervals? And he was like, I use I've the same problem, but I use a run diary and I type them in. You were saying there, like, different hills stuff. If you're doing an interval on a Wednesday, would your 1K, let's say you're doing 1K, I know you do 400 meters, would that be the exact stretch, 400 meters, and walk back? Or do you switch up
I kind of operate a loop, so I just kind of run, and whatever the terrain is for that interval, I'll run over that terrain and then take my break and then keep going. So some of it could be uphill, some of it could be downhill, but the route would generally kind of be the same. So you kind of get it's majority flat with only a couple of hills. So I just kind of take it as it is, because the monotonous up and back running I'm not really a fan of it. So I kind of like to, because a lot of the times with the interval training session, it will include a 10-minute warm up. So I'll jog for that 10 minutes. That'll cover me about nearly 2K on a slow run, and then it's about 4K intervals. That's 6, and then the cool down. So that's the 8K loop that I usually run. So and then how quickly I can cover the ground in the middle, that's where I'll see the improvement. So
gotcha.
Yeah, but everyone's different. But like that interval, some people like to just run to the end, see the finish line, turn, see the other finish line, and absolutely it gives you a target. Like, I'm constantly looking at the watch to see the target, so I'm mentally going, how far do I have to go? 800 meters, that's about there. And then, so it can be a bit tough when you're like, oh my god, that has to be a kilometer, and you look down and it's only 800 meters. So sometimes it can be tough, especially when you're you're feeling the heart rate going and you're running at a 3:30 or 3:45 pace, it can be difficult, you know. And obviously the first, second interval you can hold that, and then as you get tired, you start to drop in pace when you're going maximum effort.
Yeah, I find it with a Nike Run app, it takes too long for the second, third, 4 kilometer to adjust to when you're going like a 3:30, 3:40. Like I was aiming for a 4 minute, and it started like 11, 12 minute kilometers. So I was walking for 2 minutes. I went down to that pace, and I was like, I gotta get this up to a 4 minute as I started running. And then like by the end of the run, like 3/4 of the way through, the thing told me I was running a 3:30 kilometer. I'm like, oh, no wonder I'm out of breath. I'm not making it to the end here. But the other thing with the run was, because I was running from end to end and trying to keep as flat as I could because there's so many hills around here, like I got to the end of the first K and I saw this other couple walking the other way, and then I was running back and I was passing them out again, and then I was passing them out, facing them again, going up and down, like, what's wrong with this person? Just we're on the same route. It's like, he's really sticking to this 2 kilometer radius going on. It's not just a straight line.
I suppose at least you kind of had that excuse to kind of not go too far, but I found as well a lot of people would use kind of the route I run around here in work, and I find an interval is going to stop just at the point where I'm going to catch up with someone or pass someone out. So I just keep running through the break and keep straight on into the second interval, because I just can't handle that awkward just standing beside someone while I'm out of breath. So
yeah,
plow on.
And like they wouldn't have a clue you're doing intervals either. Like they're just like,
no, you just think you're
right here, and they start getting all self-conscious.
Yeah.
I did that on Wednesday actually. There was, I think it was about a 50-year-old woman or something like that I just passed, and then I'd kind of like waited about a minute, and then she like was catching up with me and was just like, okay, go. And like literally as she was just beside me, I just ran.
Social distancing, you should have shouted and kept running. But
that's happened to me a few times. I have the big headphones in as well, and someone just walked past me. I'm like, 15 seconds for this interval is supposed to start. I can't just sprint past them like. Maybe I'll go the other way, and I see the big hill there. I'm like, okay, I'm just going to sprint past them and take it from there. Before we move on to the 5K challenge, Eric, that running diary, Austin, did he talk to you too much about that? Would he just track everything he does?
So when we started last year, we followed the 16-week program ourselves. We did the heart rate training. Ozzy kept the kind of diary through the whole thing, so he would take the key notes from each session. So the heart rate zone, how so the key points he would look for was how long was he in each zone in his heart rate to see, was he getting fitter, was he, was the capacity increasing in terms of his endurance and stuff, and seeing. So it's very easy, like in the app, you kind of flick through the different dates to see, well, okay, last time I did intervals was a week ago, and you go back in, you click through, and you're looking through all the stats, whereas he has it kind of laid out, so a flick of a page, he's like, oh yeah, so you can see it was a 5:40 last week, it's now a 5:35, so, and it's a nice little motivator, and there is some sort of accountability when you kind of, like, the app is always there. He's great for taking that time to do it. Me, I'm a bit lazy, so I just kind of use the app. So, but in terms of accountability, when you're just training on your own, it's a fantastic way of seeing progress. It's a fantastic motivator.
And would he take like record of recovery, how he felt after each run? Would that change?
Yeah, so we were only talking about it the other day, because we're talking about the dirty ultra stuff. But there's like other key things that he's starting to take note of what he ate, how he was feeling, what was the weather like, was it hot, was it cold? So he's kind of, how was his hydration? So just to kind of see, is there other factors playing a little element? It's kind of just an experiment, because when you're training like that, you kind of get a bit, it's mundane at sometimes. So it's just interesting to see the difference, because we did note last year when we were training, we made a little joke of it. We didn't have a great run or a great interval session. We're like, we didn't have our pasta the night before, or that was the Chinese. But then now that you look back on it and we started talking about the different variables, it probably was making a bit of a difference. Not majorly. Obviously, we're not professional athletes, just like getting out and about. But in terms of how you feel about things, So we're going to kind of just look at that over the next little while. Losing it anyway, and for me, I run to eat, so I'm not going to change that. I ran my half marathon this morning, and I'm getting a pizza tonight. So that's the way I operate on this.
I'm jealous.
I'm moderate.
I'm so jealous right now.
But yeah, I've definitely increased my level of training. So I'm cycling 32 kilometers every day and running every day. So really established a routine. I am a creature of habit, so the routine was missing for me for a little while there. So I've got into a good routine. So
how do you find the 32k Shay affecting the run?
So the way I'm doing the 32k is I don't let my heart rate come out of zone 2, so I'm using that as my zone 2 builder. But it's great for, I spend an hour and a half or an hour 15 thereabouts on the bike, but there's no impact. It's just listening to music and away I go, and the legs are getting a bit of work but not too strenuous when you're keeping it in zone 2. And so you're putting in an hour and a half of zone 2 training, building that endurance. So I'm definitely seeing the weight is dropping off me. I'm now 85 kilos thereabouts, 84 and a half. So when we started all this challenge, just as I came back from holidays, at a good holiday, I was about 87, 88. So it was about 4 kilos coming off me in about 2 weeks there. So hence why the pizza is probably going to be 2 pizzas tonight. But
well, it was water weight and drink weight as well, though.
Yeah, there's a lot going on. So I'm noticing weight loss by adding in the cycles, but also the recovery is not a lot after a cycle. It really isn't. I haven't really worked, haven't really broke sweat. But I put in an hour and a half of endurance building, and then when I go running, then I'm feeling, obviously I'm lighter, so running is getting a little bit quicker. So it's all kind of playing a nice role at the minute. So tomorrow I'm on duty all day, so I won't be doing anything tomorrow. That's why I did the half marathon today. And again, a nice gauge to see how I am in terms of the long distance. Haven't done a long run in a while, so yeah, it's funny. Me 3 years ago, just waking up on a Sunday to do a half marathon, I probably would have laughed at myself. But it's amazing how far you can come. But it also means I get pizzas and all tonight, so it's how I motivate myself. Everyone has different motivators. Mine's food.
100%. You hit a couple of things there, talking about routine and habit, accountability in terms of having other people there and having a running diary, and all that kind of put together. One thing seems to trump that, and that's a challenge. That's a good old-fashioned two people, mounting off to each other and setting a challenge. And what happened was someone had a 5k average of around 30 minutes, 31 seconds until that bear was poked. And when that bear got poked, his time went down from
He's a big bear. He is a big
That's a
bear.
big bear.
Hibernating and eating for a while there.
That big bear was
the carb load. That was just the carb load, I wanted to make sure I had enough in the tank.
Well, I'm going to call this challenge the Hare the Bear challenge, because the hare ran a good time on the Wednesday.
I see that. I was like...
That fella's only baby bear. Daddy bear had to put him back in his place.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Don't be saying that now. You got nervous.
The hare's
hands up, right?
What happened?
Hands up. There was a little
what
bit of
went through your mind Monday when he ran roughly a 27-minute 5k down from a 30-31, and that fire got lit up under the bear? What was going through your mind, Conor, when that happened?
Right, my mind was first. I've been hustled because, to be fair, right, when we set out this challenge, right, myself and Aaron had a call, and I said, listen, look, let's put something in place where, there's a good opportunity for you to win it, but it's fair. And I think initially, Aaron, you could have suggested, right, well, if I run it in under 24 minutes, then I'll win. I was like, listen, that's ambitious. Look, what's feasible? And we kind of decided on if he gets within 5 minutes of my time. So I came away, felt like it was a handshake agreement, and we were all understood. And the following day, he basically rips his time apart. And I turned around and went, is he having me on, and it just happened. He caught me in a really bad spot. I wasn't in a good mood. Didn't take it well. And basically, I kind of walked.
That was a bit of an understatement there, now.
A few rattles were thrown sky high.
Well, I think what happened there was the difference between a 5k run on the Monday and a 5k race was something to prove. Was really shown there, because and Aaron hinted at it at the start of the podcast. He ran so hard on the Monday he couldn't run properly on the Wednesday. He was so sore afterwards. Aaron, do you feel over the next 4 weeks that you could run harder than that and get fitter? I mean, you're after running a 10K today. You ran your run on Wednesday, whether sore or not, you did it.
I don't know, pretty much. I kind of like to think so, but like I'm kind of hoping the interval training and maybe the 10K or the long run will like either, I don't know, the interval training will build up speed. Like my legs are still a bit like they're not 100%, like, and hopefully that like builds up, I don't know, muscle or something there. And then the long run maybe cuts a bit of fat from me there. Now I probably could lose 1 or 2 pounds, you know, but
1 or 2.
But oh yeah. What did you say there, man?
I said
hear that again. But hopefully that'll work and that'll, like, you know, give me a better chance of actually running like sub, I don't know, 26 or something like that. That'll be
26 to go.
I think 24:59 is the goal, just to make sure that he can't, you know, run under like a sub 20 for him. Like, you know, I just want to cut it out, as they say, you know.
Connor, a sub 20 is a big ask. I know I won't get there anytime soon. You remind me again your time on Monday. Was it 21:54?
So I did my 5K run on Wednesday.
Wednesday, sorry.
Just didn't have a chance earlier on in the week. But my best time up to that had been 21:30. And lunchtime on Wednesday, I just needed a good angry run, and came out of the house and basically put in a 20 minute 54 5K. So that's comfortably my best time. And being perfectly honest with you, it's probably quicker than I thought I'd run a 5K full stop. So
you're welcome. You're welcome, by the way.
I can honestly say, I do apologize. I can honestly say that was nothing to do with you, sadly. But I needed that run. And look, you know, I think this now makes it very interesting, because I think Aaron is going to be quicker than I definitely anticipated. I genuinely thought that.
I thought you had it in the bag.
I didn't. No, and to be fair, I never thought I had it in the bag, but I did always think that 21 flat would probably be safe enough. So look, this definitely puts a little bit of pressure on me, certainly.
Well, he's at the moment, Connor's 46 seconds ahead, and obviously Aaron's got more time to make up that time, more time on 5K, so he's got more to make up. So he should be able to cut his time down a little bit easier than you cut down your time, although both's going to be incredibly hard because you're at this different levels and all the rest. So it is going to be very interesting over the next couple of weeks where it goes. Connor, I do think, though, you know, sub 20 has to be the aim at the way Aaron's going at the moment, unless he slips up. I mean, he's got a good first week, you know, and this whole thing, and in essence,
the reason why you're saying this is because you and Eric have both agreed that if we both get the same time, we both have to do the forfeit challenge. Like,
I wonder if you guys both get exactly within 5 minutes, you are both doing it. There can be no draws in this. You are both either.
We'll do something else as a tiebreaker.
No way, Jose. What's the odds? What are the odds of you getting exactly 25 minutes and Connor getting exactly 20 minutes?
We'll cross that bridge when we get to it. But look, I think what we've shown here now is
the rules are set. I walk away from that with a handshake. Anyway, and before,
more importantly, I think we've shown just how valuable these challenges are, and I can't wait to see what Seán and Eric are going to do for their challenge after this.
Well, hopefully by then the quarantine's end and our challenge will be the Dublin City Marathon. And on that note, we'll wrap up this week's episode. Yes?
I'm about to eat a 16-inch pizza in one go. Do you want to try it and see if we can do it?
I'm going to do my half marathon run next Sunday so I can do the same challenge with you. And on that note, anyone else anything to add this week's episode of the podcast?
No.
5K Monday. Let's go.
5K Monday. I'm set. I'm going to make sure my app is recording it properly this week, so I'll try and get a PB in these hills. With that said, guys, thank you very much for listening into this week's episode of the Any Given Runday Podcast. We've talked a fair bit with the Facebook group there, so if you want to get involved, there will be a link in the podcast notes. All you have to do is add yourself in. Like we said at the start of the episode, we don't care what level you're at. There are some people in that group that are a hell of a lot better runners than all four of us, because there's some people that have hit sub 20, and there's some people there that are not sub 20 runners like the rest of us. So it doesn't matter what level you're at, as long as you're running to improve yourself each and every week is all we care about. And as well as that, please do hit us up on Instagram as well at Any Given Runday Official. Let us know what you think of the podcast this week. That's all from the four of us, guys. From all of us, take care.
Bye.